Well, I
Hello.
can see you. I can hear you.
All right. That's a good start.
Yeah, something happened there. I don't know what that was. Like our intro played twice or something. Did that happen? Or am I just excited and nervous and not realize what was going on?
I don't know. I didn't see it at all the first time. I only saw it once.
Something happened. For
We'll
everyone
figure it
on the
out.
live, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Weldon Wade. I'm your co-host, along with my beautiful co-host live from Texas,
Hello,
Jessica
everyone.
Lee.
It's
Oh
Jessica
gosh.
Lee.
Jess, how are you?
I'm doing good. It is a good Wednesday. We were talking about sharks today. Any Wednesday we talk about sharks is a good day.
Indeed, and it can be such a contentious subject, right? Like you say shark, the first couple of words that come to mind may differ from most people. When they hear the word shark, it has this, a bit of a, I guess, visceral reaction to most when they think about Hollywood and how sharks are portrayed. But before we dive into the topic, and Jess and I are going to be like on air producers, going forward, just sharing roles using the platform. Shout out to StreamYard that are providing this wonderful platform for us to broadcast to these different destinations. Shout out to Bermuda International for the phenomenal bandwidth, and to supporters AMML Limited, Uber Vita, and Current Vehicles. And yeah, thank you for everyone for tuning in. But Jess, we did this last week and I totally like sped past my bit. But introduce yourself to people that may be on the live that might not know who you are in episode 2 of season 2 of the show.
Yes. Well, hello, everyone. I'm Jessica Lee. I am a PADI scuba instructor. I specialize in private courses and eco focus courses. And I am classically trained as a marine ecologist and a scientific diver. And I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to be here with you guys. So, welcome to the show.
I'm super excited to have Jess as an official co-host this season. And my name is Weldon Wade. I did a bit of a rebrand. I'm like, what am I doing out here? What am I really? So I consider myself an ocean innovator, an explorer, and an educator. I dabble in those spaces, and you know, I kind of, like we say on the show, build it while we fly, and just going to wherever my passion may take me, right? As long as I'm in, on, or under the water, I'm pretty happy with that. And again, shout out to our live viewership that are on, and if you're watching us on replay, thank you so much for tuning in. Now, in terms of like live on air producer, we're definitely going to be playing with the platform a little bit more tonight. Going to be sharing tabs and sharing content. We're going to be more than just talking heads tonight, at least on my end. And for those of you that might not know, I'll let you know that Jess and I do a little prep, but like tonight we really, like, this is the first time I've seen Jessica's face since last week, I think. We had some back and forth in WhatsApp and Facebook and whatnot, but yeah, we really don't know. I don't know what Jess has to share tonight. I was like, her, Jess did the whale shark. You saw the whale sharks, and that is a shark.
Oh, we've got some shark stories to
You got
tell.
some shark
We've
stories?
got some
Okay,
we've got some
okay.
shark stories. We got some shark pictures.
Let me switch up the background. Let me have a look at a couple things behind the scenes here. If you'd love to share a shark tale, that would be great. Or I can cut over to a YouTube clip that I'd love to share with our viewership as well. So, what do you want
I'm
to do?
happy with whatever. Yeah,
Yeah,
we want to start with a story or you want to start with a
yeah.
video?
Start with the story.
All right. So today we're talking about swimming with sharks. So that has like a lot of different meanings, right? You could actually be like swimming in the water, you could be scuba diving, you could be free diving, snorkeling. So some of these stories that I'll be sharing with you guys tonight, and I promise I won't just tell you stories all night. Some of them involve diving, some of them involve snorkeling, but they all involve being in the water with these apex predators. So a lot of times when people think of sharks, some people are like huge shark fans, and some people might be scared of sharks. I mean, they are predators. That's not an unreasonable fear by any means. But a lot of times we, especially those of us who get to be in the water, a lot of times you can have very positive interactions with sharks. especially whenever you're respecting the fact that this is their natural habitat and it's not your natural habitat. So one of the fun adventures I've got to have was, you guys hear maybe talk about the flower garden banks a lot. They are the local reef here in Texas. It's a protected marine sanctuary. It's beautiful. And this takes place very close to the flower garden banks. It takes place at a place called Sanya Banks, which is now inside of the marine sanctuary, but it did not used to be. And it was back in my scientific diving days, and I was out with Noah. And we were doing surveys out there, and we are doing fish surveys. And so I had my dive buddy doing a coral transect, and I was doing the fish surveys. So I had my little clipboard, and I'm floating along, and I'm counting all the fish. And it's really neat because when you're at Sanye, all of a sudden, once you get to like the edge of the reef, it just like drops. And then there's like a ledge, and then it drops. And then there you are. So you're kind of like up on this pinnacle, you're up at the top, and then it just goes on down from there. And it's a really cool feeling. It's kind of like at the edge of the cliff. And when I got to the end of my transect, which happened to be at the end of this drop off point, when I looked down, there was these two beautiful sandbar sharks, and they were just like crossing, but they were, I don't know, maybe like 50 feet below me. And I was like, oh man, today is my lucky day. I was doing a survey. I got to see these amazing sharks. I got to see two of them. Like, what are the odds? And so I'm just kind of like chilling. I'm still doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And all of a sudden I see one come back across the way. And now it's about 20 feet shallower. So it's still a ways away from me. But it's a little bit closer. I was like, all right, cool. If you get any closer, you might be in my transect. Does that mean I get to count you on my clipboard? No? Okay. And so I'm still like best Jess life right now. And then all of a sudden, and actually I lied. Both of them came back on the second time. Now, the third time it came back around, it was much closer. It was much shallower. It was a lot closer to me. And there's only one of them, which leaves you sometimes thinking like, where's the other one? There was two. But you have to remember we're in like it's a very small area. My dive buddy's right behind me. She's like counting corals and checking things out. And so I'm like, all right, well, like I might be invading your space. Like this is your home. It is not my home. I'm done with my transect. I've done what I need to. I've got to see you 3 times now, which I enjoyed every second of. And now I'm going to back up a little bit and go chill out by my buddy while we finish up our surveys. So it was beautiful. It was really cool getting to have this like very natural, not baited, not
Right.
like touristic encounter. It was just like a
Okay.
very natural encounter. It was super exciting.
Nice. Such a great story. Can't wait to learn more and share more with our viewership for sure.
You should have
mean,
seen me interacting with my dive buddy. I was like, because she has her head down in the coral, so like she doesn't see what I'm seeing. She's not where I'm at, and she's also looking down. And I came up to her. I was like, "It was a big shark."
Yeah, right. For those of you that don't know,
Got to get the hand signal
those of
for
you that don't
shark for
know,
divers.
yeah, we need like a hand signals episode because
Just watch me being dorky.
unless you've got a comms mask, then yeah, it's all hand signals. It's all hands and toes.
And reading
Um,
eyes.
yeah, which is great. Now, guys, I just want to ask you. You're on the live. There's over 50 of you. I just need to get the engagement up, get the likes up. Let us know where you're from. That just helps us better frame the show. Right, we're live. Jess is in Texas. I'm in Bermuda, and we're here, doing this for you guys. So it's wonderful if we could just get the engagement up a little bit. And if you're in Bermuda listening, yeah, just type Bermuda. It all helps. I mean, we know we're not here by ourselves, and even if we were, that will be okay because the numbers look good on replay. Like not everyone is at home or in a position to watch our show live, and that's fine. Which is why the replay goes up automatically, and unless something happens, something dramatic happens, we let the replay go up one time. But for those of you that are watching, I just want to say that, as I said in the beginning, most people don't get excited when they hear the word shark. And I have many stories that I can share with you. We may even talk about sharks again next week because there's a lot to be said. But we want to keep the show light, we want to keep the show entertaining, we want to educate you guys a little bit. But there are over 1,000 species of shark, and we know that we're slaughtering sharks at an astounding rate. It's not sustainable. We need, as Jess said, these apex predators in the ocean. It is their home. When I hear shark and when Jess hears shark, I'm speaking for you, Jess, but it's like, let's get in the water. Let's see this. Now in Bermuda, when we have a sighting of a shark on our platform, and I can better illustrate that. I've got Google Earth up and I can explain that, but I just want to say for my well, maybe for everyone in the room, Bermuda, for all intents and purposes, doesn't have sharks. That's what the majority of people are made to understand. And seeing a shark on our platform is very rare. In fact, when there is a shark sighting, and someone's able to take a picture of it, it's like front page news. Whether it's a hammerhead or a baby mako that was in the news recently, it's front page. Whereas in other islands like the Bahamas, Bimini is known for divers like Jess and I to visit purposefully and specifically to swim with hammerhead sharks in crystal clear water. Um, so it's weird when, as divers, we'd pay happily thousands of dollars to have in water experiences with sharks that most people in the world have been programmed to fear and flee from. Um, as I said in Facebook, I gave you guys a little sprinkle of seasoning earlier by sharing a YouTube clip of the late Dr. Neil Burnie, who him and Choy Aming were leaders in the Bermuda Shark Project. Now, just what Dr. Neil and Choy were doing, and it still is ongoing, is tagging tiger sharks and with satellite tags and working with an institution to be able to have this data on a website, and you can see where the tiger sharks have gone. And Neil ran a wonderful program, had got sponsorships and the whole bit. Unfortunately, as many of you may know, if you didn't, Dr. Neil did pass away in a free diving incident. And we can have a show dedicated to that in of itself, because I was on the water when he unfortunately did pass away. So, but that aside, Neil was a character, and he ended up having his own show entitled Ocean Vet, and he passed away like as the last episode was being shot. And it is available on a streaming platform, and it's vast. And Ocean Vet has evolved. Dwayne, love your comment, bro. Yeah, if we Jess, you want to pop that up? Thank you so much, Dwayne, for your comment. Dwayne says, I think not having sharks as a regular occurrence here in Bermuda gives us a full sense of security. So, Dwayne, when you hear the word shark, what comes to mind? Do you think this is a man-eating monster that's going to kill me? Or are you of the, optimistically excited, but maybe not jump in? Yeah, just let us know like how you feel, because that's really important. I'm gonna jump into StreamYard, try to share my tab, and I hope you hear the audio, because that's the whole point. It's 10 years ago. Dr. Neil Burnie on an expedition in the Galapagos. The guy sitting next to him, I realized this today, is Andy Brandy Casagrande. He's the ABC4 Sharks or ABC4 Explorer guy. Sorry, and yeah, he's done phenomenal work. I just had no idea like that him and Neil actually did anything together. So it's quite nice. So give me a sec. I should just be able to add, and we got that. And let me know if you hear this, you guys.
Yeah, I know something. I'm a shark, I'm a big old shark. I could eat you any day. I'm a shark, I'm a big old shark. Get out of the cage and play. Here we are in Guadeloupe, great white dino. Pretty soon those little fur seal pups will be heading up to school. We're the apex predators, we're just looking for a meal. And the stealth iguana is tasty as a fat baby elephant seal.
Oh,
I'm a shark, I'm a big old shark. I can eat you any day. I'm a shark, I'm a big old shark. Get out of the cage and play. All you fancy photographers, you think that you're the man. But to me and Cal and the rest of the boys, you're just a big seal in a can. Whoa, I'm a shark, I'm a big old shark. I can eat you any day. I'm a shark, I'm a big old shark. Get out of the cage and play.
I love that part. You've got no blubber. Puh. So I just can I pause that? You got to be so quick with this. So shout out to Elephant, SEAL Team 6, Dr. Bernie, Oscar Deuce, ABC, Explore, Andy Casagrande, you, Watlington, Will Tucker, and Davey Armstrong. Um, I miss Neil. He did so much for the community, and I could show videos of Neil for the rest of the hour, right? Um, Neil did a TED talk about sharks. Neil was an advocate for all sharks, tiger sharks, and mostly. But super inspiring. Neil inspired me so much. I ended up getting my own um, fin, my own puppet shark, and so I'm not gonna like sing or do anything because I do my best to embody Neil, but I'm not a singer. But I've got my own little puppet shark who says hi to you guys. I got a puppet tiger shark because I love doing outreach and stuff in schools. And I take my stuff. You can see the stuffed animals on the shelf: lionfish, turtle, all the lionfish, and I got tiger shark, puppet stuff. Um, yeah, Jess, it would have been wonderful for you to have met Neil and just be in the same like room as him. He played saxophone, harmonica, all of that. In
Oh,
addition to
wow.
being a veterinarian, and my mother, true story. My mother worked at Ensmead Animal Hospital here in Bermuda, and she was around when Dr. Steele sold Ensmead Animal Hospital to Dr. Neil and Nick. So, in addition to my mom bringing home animals all the time that had been, abandoned by their owners for one reason or the other, or just strays that are bought in, I was around animals my whole life. She worked with Dr. Neil, and I'd see him all the time when I go by, and I'd work there some weekends and over the summer. It got tough, having to deal with the pets and having them put down and sort of that unfun side of that whole bit, but just great energy. So I'd love to segue a little bit into my personal lived experiences with sharks. Um, so I've had more in water shark experiences than I thought I did. Like until we started to produce the show and do a bit of run a show, like, oh wow, like Bahamas, Cayman, had the encounter with the nurse shark that just swam right up to us and let us pet her in the wild, which is crazy. Plus my in water shark encounters here off South Shore. Just to pause real quick, I'm going to put up a comment from Elizabeth. Great whites are coming back to Hawaii, so sharks in Bermuda could happen. Yeah, sharks in Bermuda do happen. If Jess and I wanted to encounter sharks in Bermuda on a flat day, kind of like it was today, we'd grab Choy, Aming, the local shark whisperer, and I bet Choy would suggest that we jump in a big boat, bigger than mine, and head about anywhere from 10 to 12 nautical miles to Bermuda's southwest. Now let's try to do something here real quick. I'm trying some new things here, Jess. Let me try this out here. Without let's stop sharing. Share. What's Mr. Samson saying there, Jess? While I cue this up.
Yeah, we've got where are shark sightings from shore most common in Bermuda, South Side, I presume, and that is from PNW Sampson.
South Shore. I think that's Chris Sampson, who we were free diving like a week ago, I think.
Nice.
Which is pretty dope. So yep, we should see some cool stuff. We've got Google Earth up. And let's just zoom into Bermuda. So what's great is like we're quite a ways off the eastern coast there. I used to think like Bermuda was here. Nah, boss, we're like way
I
over
did
there. So
too. I did too.
yeah,
I was like, oh yeah, they're like off the coast a little ways. No.
yeah, we're a ways. So 90-minute flight on JetBlue. Shout out to JetBlue. 90-minute flight to New York, and then like 2.5 hours, to Miami, and then 2.5 plus to Charlotte and Atlanta. But just to answer Chris's question with a bit of a visual. So there's Bermuda. We've got a couple of seamounts to our southwest, Challenger Bank and Argus Bank, and then there's an area right off the southwest called Sally Tucker's. But this doesn't do the best job, really. But Chris, Jess, if we wanted to see sharks, and shout out to all 56 viewers on the live, that's great. Dwayne, appreciate you, bro. We jump in a boat and we'd head around to Pompano, and we'd punch out to the southwest and do, I don't know, if we're on like Chris Burville's boat, maybe 40 knots to the southwest, and end up um, on one of these sea mounts, these just underwater mounts that haven't broken the surface, or they maybe they did when the sea level was lower, but right now they're underwater by quite a ways. I'd say what, Challenger 100 feet down, Argus 100 feet down, something like that. Um, Lots we could talk about those sea mounts, especially Argus Bank, because back in the day had a tower. They had an actual structure built on top of that mount that was used to do things with the war and submarines and all kinds of crazy stuff. But it's on those mounts we would probably um, chum up the water and see if we can encounter some tiger sharks, dusky sharks, or Galapagos sharks, and maybe some blue sharks. Um, for the fishermen tuning in or watching us on replay, you ask some fishermen like, oh, Bermuda doesn't have any sharks. They'd probably like kind of laugh when you're not looking. The fishermen see a lot in our open ocean, and there's no shortage of sharks that are out there for sure. It's kind of like that's where they are, and to think that there are no sharks, in our waters is quite silly. I think they're if it's water, if deep water, they'll go deep, and if they kind of hear you or feel you or see you, to feel your heartbeat or your energy, they'll just flee, right? But in the platform, and when I meant platform, it's Bermuda sits inside of this extinct volcano here, and sort of inside the crater. This is what we call the platform. So rarely would we have a sighting, but it doesn't, just because you can't see them doesn't mean they're not there. And I did also want to just highlight the Bermuda Shark Project real quick. Back in 2005. So you can Google Bermuda Shark Project or visit BAMS.org, and you'd find the link to it, tagging tigers and Galapagos sharks, and seeing where they go. So let me just see if I bring this up. Yeah, just the sharks would, like Neil and Choy used to do talks at BUAI all the time. They were fully open and like transparent with all the data, and they'd often invite people from the community out on their expeditions when they go out. You needed really good conditions to get out there and do this work, but all the data's out there. It's really, really cool. Jess, you want to jump into some of the comments? We've got a couple of new ones, or maybe just that one there.
Yeah, we've got this one. It's unfortunate that sharks are uncommon in Bermuda. They're some of the most awe-inspiring creatures to dive with. They really are. That is a very true statement. It's kind of like I don't know. I don't want to be like too dramatic, but it's kind of like a gift whenever you get to dive with a shark, because it's a lot of people like that's the first thing they think of whenever you're talking about like diving or swimming in the ocean. People are like, oh, sharks. But the truth is, unless you're in very specific areas, a lot of times shark sightings are not very common. Kind of like what Bermuda, like in Bermuda, it's one of those things where they're there, and just because you don't see them doesn't mean that they're there. But a lot of times we don't get these interactions, that we don't get to be very close. We don't get to see them very much. So there's different activities that can cause sharks to be enticed to come closer to different places around the world, and different providers. Some of them use trimming. Some of you will go to places that sharks are known to gather in numbers, whether it's for feeding or for breeding. And so those are places that you have like a better chance of seeing sharks sometimes. But there's something really special about coming across a shark, kind of like in the story I was telling you guys about at Sonia Banks. It was really neat because it wasn't expected. It wasn't planned. It just kind of happened. So it was really cool.
Nice. Yeah, it's what some of the footage I'm about to share, and please guys, like, holler at me if like anything doesn't look as nice as I expect it to. I mean, we're streaming from my machine over TBI, which should be fine, but it's high definition video, so I don't know how what the compression's gonna do with the clip. So forgive us, guys. Haven't really featured video like this before, and even though I did do some practicing, live is just different. All right, I think the first place I'm going to take you guys is to the Bahamas.
Ooh,
so
yes,
in the
please.
Bahamas, in Nassau, Stewart Cove's Dive Bahamas is world known, I think, world renowned dive shop. Many boats, many cool things, and one thing that they do offer is a shark feeding experience. So just to tell the story before you see the visual, because it's a bit dramatic, is yeah, you're diving along and there are Caribbean reef sharks swimming around. They're really not paying the divers any mind. You form a circle with your dive group, and pretty big circle, and they feed the sharks like fish racks and stuff in the middle of the circle. And you've got the feeders in chainmail, and you've got a photographer that's taking pictures of everybody having this experience. So yeah, I'm gonna cue up the video. Let's see how this looks. So I just got my GoPro, and because I heard some stuff going on behind me, I'm like, what's going on? So they're behind me, just getting the chum ready, and those are all the Caribbean reef sharks
And yellowtail snapper.
and a whole lot of other things too. um so it was quite an interesting thing, and I've got gigs and gigs of clips. Let me try to just skip through some of that stuff, but there we go. This is raw, unedited, rough, but you can see we're formed that circle, and the sharks aren't paying the divers any mind. In fact, one did brush up against me, and here you can see that the divers are bringing the crate of chum in the middle of the circle. The videographer, photographer, media guy is shooting some stuff, and what happens is you're able to shoot your own footage with your own kit, but with the professional photographer with the Sony A3 7S or something like that, he was able to capture some really good shots. They went around the circle, getting the shots close to you. But yeah, we're all sitting there like, okay, like really, really great experience. No, like my body didn't feel a sense of fear. It was more awe, you know, this nervous, exciting awe, you know. And I'm thinking, well, if anything went a little bit south, you know, there are so many other people down here. Like it was, you know, you can't help but think of, you know, self-preservation in that regard. But yeah, I mean, you can see me, I'm kind of like looking around like, okay. Um, so yeah, really, really dope. Um, what I'll do is I'll just stop the video there. So you can, and I'll switch that, remove that. So yeah, you can go to Bahamas as an open water diver, go down in 60 feet of water, maybe less even, and have this shark experience. I don't want to start the debate about like how humans feeding the sharks there changes their behavior or whatever. I mean, it is what it is. Um, I think that that's more. There's more good. I think when you realize that these sharks aren't these um, mindless creatures that are just discriminate uh, predators, monsters, then you kind of have a better understanding. And that's what Dr. Burnie was really emphasizing with a lot of his outreaches. He was like, unless you're dead, dumb, dying, decaying, you know, the shark will, and this isn't, I'm not speaking in absolutes, but it'll, you know, leave you alone, right? It's very smart, got all kinds of sensory abilities that we really don't even understand. It can like feel your energy, feel your heartbeat. I mentioned that a little bit earlier. So it's quite interesting to be in the water surrounded by all these sharks, plus like, you know, big grouper, lots of yellowtails, couple like a couple of our sharks were really, really great. Got some comments here. Magic, thank you so much for joining us on the live. Magic says, love Stuart Cove, some great people at that place. The shark feeding is such an amazing experience. Yeah, like once you do it, you're kind of like, wow, you know. Plus, just the water's warm, the visibility is fantastic. It was just such a great experience overall. Andrew, wonderful to see you on the live, brother. Congratulations on everything. It's been a while since we've caught up. Andrew says, shout out to Stuart's Cove. Tiger Shark Dive is on the cards when I go back. That is so cool. Andrew also adds, fear when they were circling the boat, but major respect for the animals and their environment. Yeah, a couple people topside were like getting, you know, some cold feet. But once we got in, the dive masters, the instructors, all the management, like everything was just such a wonderful experience. Dwayne comments as well. He says the problem is sharks are not marketed. Well, yeah, Jaws, right? Everyone hears the music, you know, even if you don't see them. You know, I told a friend today, like, yeah, I'm going night diving, and she was like, uh, okay. And, made a comment about, yeah, you'd hear the Jaws music. So, yeah, the problem is sharks aren't marketed as friendly like dolphins are. There's not a good narrative around sharks.
And
That's
that's something that's, I don't know. It's hard when we personify animals. So whenever we give them like human-like characteristics. So dolphins aren't friendly, sharks aren't mean. Dolphins are dolphins, sharks are sharks. And so I think sometimes it's hard for us to remember that because we think of them and how they interact against us, and
right.
versus in they're doing what a shark does, they're doing what a dolphin does. And I would like to point out sharks are not mean and dolphins are not friendly. Some dolphins are, some dolphins are
They got
not.
that. They got the smiling, like they. I mean, it's just again how they're
Sure.
marketed. We think flipper.
Yes.
We think
Yeah.
the friendly, fun dolphin. Um,
Yeah.
you know, I mean orcas. I mean, I just remember like going SeaWorld as a kid. Seeing orcas in captivity, and back in the '80s. You know, discussions of like captive or not, I don't even think were something that we were talking about. We just didn't understand. I certainly as a kid didn't. I thought it was great, seeing this amazing, smart, large animal in this tiny little tank. But now, you know, we're seeing that more and more organizations are like, no, you can't do that. They should be. And then Free Willy came out, and then you're like, free all the orcas. And I want to share that, like, while we're talking about sharks tonight, like to see orcas in the wild is definitely like something I am like really keen to do. um so Jess, we got to make that happen, swimming with orcas. That would be
Yes.
dope.
Yeah, and
um
it's cool being around apex predators. 'Cause, I mean, you have to think, dolphins and orcas, they all fall into this category. But yeah, sharks are really cool. They don't a lot of times, like unless there is a specific reason, they don't. Again, they don't have like emotions like we have emotions. So like they don't act out of like fear or hate. There's like survival, and there's feeding, and there's like avoidance.
right.
But yeah, it's never like a malicious type thing. It's not like, oh, I got you. So yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
and that's why I think getting to dive with sharks, a lot of times it can create a very positive experience for people because they're able to interact with these predators in a way that maybe you normally wouldn't, but in a relatively safe way, and that you come out and you're like, oh, cool, like they just swam by and they didn't care about me and they actually swam off and I was trying to take a picture and I actually didn't get to see them as much as I wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so a lot of times, especially like depending on where you're at, it's different. But yeah, and some sharks are more shy than others. And again, see, there I am personifying, but some sharks are more likely to swim away from you than others, like threshers. So I've got to see threshers in
So
the
many
wild, but
species.
like, man,
Threshers. Oh,
they're
I
beautiful,
just,
but man, they
yeah.
take off. Come back.
The long tail.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, I've never seen a thresher, and they only make just thinking of like some of the key sort of well-known species. The only mako I've ever seen was like a dead one. Um, and then like the tigers, the blues, the duskies. So it's pretty wild. Um, I'm happy to share a more profound story, which some people have heard me talk about before. Um, it's the Mother's Day dead sperm whale being eaten by sharks in open ocean story. Um, so I've got like probably like 30 gig of video of this day that hasn't seen like the light of day ever. Some snippets have made it onto social media over the last 5 or 6 years, but I'd like to share some more of that tonight. I was like, how do I frame the story? How do I kind of tell this, make it more cool? But anyway, um, I was on a photo shoot with Chris Burville, Adrian, and Julia. Funny enough, at Dolphin Quest in Dockyard, catching some great content of Julia with her mermaid tail swimming with the dolphins and whatnot. And we got a phone call that a fisherman had found a dead floating sperm whale about 10 nautical miles to Bermuda southwest. Hence Challenger Bank, Argus Bank, and the hot spots off the southwest. Managed to get a boat, jump in, bunch of us and two other boats, headed southwest, probably wide open throttle to meet the fishermen to get our, see this dead whale. And we actually did see the fishermen, but we smell the dead whale like from probably 2 miles out. It just smelled bad. So we found the whale carcass. The fisherman took off back to shore in his small boat, which was shocking to me because he was way offshore in a very tiny boat. But we put eyes on this dead floating sperm whale, and it was in fact being eaten by at least a dozen sharks, 3 different species: a blue and duskies and some tigers, some really big tigers. So Choy and Aming happened to be on the boat, and we are on Chris Burville's boat. Shout out to Choy and Chris. And we set out there to see what this was, what was going to happen. And yes, we did jump into the water while the sharks were eating the whale, and subsequently to our like observing things from the surface, and then suiting up and getting in, and then getting out when the shark experts figured the tigers were getting a little bit too comfortable with us being in the water. Choi subsequently jumped on the dead floating whale and captured GoPro footage of the whale being eaten while he's on it. And then we ultimately tethered Options, that's the name of Chris's boat, to the whale in an effort to try to. They've got the largest teeth of any mammal, right? They've just got big sperm whale teeth. We tried to tear the jaw off to get the teeth, and it just, didn't work. We probably need 2 bigger boats to kind of pull that off. So what I'd love to share with you guys is the actual footage of. So Choi, I believe, got in first, of course, and this is him like telling me it's okay to come into the water. Now, we are far away from Bermuda. I don't even think we could see land. And I don't know how deep the water is, but it would be dark, like 1,000 fathoms. Like, who knows? Like, we're way off the platform, you guys. We're quite a ways away. So less talking, more video. And Jess, you've got some whale shark stuff.
I do.
Right? Maybe?
I do.
Okay. Let me share this video, and again, I'm going to do the screen. I'm going to try to share the whole screen here, and I hope it's clear. And yeah, here I am at the back of the stern of Chris Burville's boat, and that is Choy in frame. Here we go. Check the whale on the far left. So he's like, Weldon, come in. And I'm like, okay. Choy said it's okay. So, of course, you can see what I did, right? As soon as I jump in, 360 around, like, what am I doing? Granted, and all I had in my hand is this boat hook. So it's like a 4-foot boat hook, that you use to get your dock lines or pick things up out of the water. And here, and please forgive me, you guys, if this is choppy, but it might be okay. I don't know. We're swimming towards the dead floating sperm whale. See the tigers underneath the carcass. As we get closer, the large tigers back away. They give us space. They, again, can see us. Obviously, they can feel us. We'd been around for a while, so the boat didn't scare them off. And, of course, other divers, Dylan Ward is back there with his, again, like no cage, open ocean, super deep water, free diving with boat hooks and poles. Tigers kind of keeping their distance. Now, we're talking 2015, I think this was. I have my Hero 4 Silver in a little thing, little flappy red filter thing. I wasn't too worried about capturing the footage more than being aware of my surroundings. But this beautiful blue shark is actually like the most gorgeous thing I'd ever seen. Now, seeing this with your own eyes at the surface, when the sun hits the skin of this shark, it glistens like Twilight vampires. Like, and I don't even watch Twilight, but I don't know. Vampires get hit by sun and they don't die. I don't know. But
I wasn't expecting that analogy.
But it's like diamonds. Their skin glittered blue, like blue diamonds. It's
the OG vampires.
The OG, right. So we got Choy Aming with his DSLR in the housing. You got the blue shark with its pilot fish. This guy had no fear, just cruising along like a 777, checking us out, close to us the whole time. Tiger shark in the back. such an amazing experience. And I'm not sure when the highlights of this particular clip hit. Oh, that's it. Okay, cool. Because there's some moments where guys do kind of grab the dorsal fin, of the shark and kind of ride it a little bit. Um, yeah, some really really cool things. If any of you guys watching have any questions, there's some more I want to share, but I don't want to take up the whole show with this footage. It'll be great. So here's the thing. I've been just sort of waiting to find an editor that can really help me get all the footage I got, because I shot with my S5 smartphone. I shot with my Canon S110, and I shot with the GoPro. So it's so much cool stuff. Just gotta kind of produce it, edit it, and make a cool edit. So if anyone out there is keen to get their hands on this footage and put together a really dope edit, hit me up. Beautiful footage. How cool. Hey, Rebecca. Great to see you back on the live. Let me queue up. I'm going to queue up another clip, which I have flagged as epic shark encounter. Let me just quickly. Yeah. So what I'm going to share is a few minutes of more intense part of this in water experience, and we were out there for a really really long time. And Chris is on the live. I thought I'd see you, brother. I was hoping on it. I was counting on it. Great stuff, buddy. What an incredible day. Yeah, the story has been told. I think Choy was on CNN talking about it. It was really epic, and it's crazy. So I'm gonna share a few more minutes, and happy to answer any questions. Let's add this to the stream, Jess. And I'm gonna watch. I'll try something different. Let me remove. We can add our faces back or not. Hold on. We're building it while we fly, you guys. So all of us are in the water at this point. I'm getting really comfortable and close to the blue. Trying to be aware of my surroundings and frame the shot. And as Chris is in the water as well, he's doing it, and Choy's doing it too. But this is wonderful because you get to see the sperm whale in the back. You get to see the blue. But during this particular time, and I think, Chris, we only spent about 20 minutes in the water. It wasn't until I think the tigers were getting a bit close. I think you bumped one with your dome port, and then the blue came close, and I didn't see it. And then I was like, yeah, it's time to get up. So it got a little bit hairy. This is a 7-minute clip. I'm going to skip around. And I don't know if you can hear the audio, but there's the flapping. That's those old GoPro color correcting flaps from backscatter. So I remember I had like a shallow filter and a deep filter, because I didn't have the fancy setup that you see Choy and Chris have. I just had the GoPro, which I still own 7-8 years later. I didn't really care too much about that. I was more about just get the shot and hang out with these guys. So how long would this sperm whale have floated before it sank? Who knows? But finding something like this was quite remarkable and quite rare. But it's like I want to skip, but I don't. But I don't want to have you guys watch 7 minutes of this either. It's all really, really phenomenal. But we're kind of kicking around. Choy's there. There's the blue. Yeah, the blue just was so cool and so beautiful.
It really is stunning.
Here it comes. Yep, the pill goes up because your boy. So that's like a 4-foot boat hook, right? So this thing got really, really close. Was I afraid of the shark in that moment? Just like, hey, buddy, you're coming right for me. You saw it. It was locked. It was like dialed right in, and it turned. Just as the boat hook kind of got in its eye. I hear some yelling. I don't know what that is, but we were all having a blast. Um, and that's Dylan diving down. So around midway ish of this particular clip, I believe the tigers did start to come. I'm skipping through you guys. The blue. Yeah, the tigers got really cozy.
Yep. It starts getting to be like, hey man, are you trying to take my food?
Yeah,
Are
there
you
it is. This is sort of the money shot here, and I wish that red filter didn't get in the way. But I saw this 7-foot tiger kind of at the distance, and you can see them all there. Wow, that's pretty crazy. Um, let me get rid of that. Can I? Oh, sorry, you guys, messed it up. You're trying to keep your eye on all these guys. It's impossible. Did I skip it? Beautiful animals. But when your boys coming like straight at you, like they're like, hey, Chris, Choy, like, are we ready to boogie if this thing like gets a little bit too friendly? And then you're like, oh, but there's another one, and there's another one. So yeah, I need a dope editor to caught all the bits where you get this flappy business. And there I am. I'm like, why? What is this thing? So pretty nice. And so I'm gonna just stop that. And 16 minutes. Wow. Okay. Yeah, it's longer than I thought.
That was a cool experience to
Yeah,
get to
like
be there and get to see that happen. That's a very rare thing to get to see.
yeah, I think probably like once in a lifetime you have a situation like this, and the fact that Troy was able to grab Chris's boat and bring it to dockyard, and the fisherman was really like the linchpin in all of this, because anybody else might have just seen it and not even said anything. But so before I kind of close off on this particular story, I did mention that Choi did get on this thing while it was floating, so I can't not show that. And I think I shot that most of that with my Canon. So I'm gonna try to do. We're going with photos now, you guys, which would be nice, easy to kind of see.
Oh wow.
So shout out to Alette, Choi's girlfriend, who was on the boat with us as well. And I just remember, and I got this on video where, Choi's like, yeah, get me close so I can get on the whale. And I just remember like looking at him like, is this something you really want to do? It's like, F yeah, so it happened. So this is the wonderful, amazing, very brave Choi sitting on this, and the body's, the skin's rotting, and it doesn't look so, but we're very far out, and there was swell, but the swell period was nice. Like, it wasn't terrible, but the corpse was rolling around quite a lot. So I'm just gonna skip through these. Hopefully nothing gnarly is in the. Hold on, let me just double check there.
Yeah.
Just make sure. Yeah, it looks good. This is live. Things happen.
You never know what you're gonna get.
I know. So, I'm just playing with some of these options, Jess. Bear with me, you guys. To all 60 of you guys on the live, thank you so much. James, what's this here? Whoop whoop for Wade in the water with Belden and Jessica. Not doing this alone. But wonderful to have you on the live, James. Let's quickly go through some of these shots. Choy on the whale. And yeah, we had two boats out there. And Choy getting GoPro footage of sharks eating the whale. So that happened. The tigers eating the yummy blubber. And I'm just like shooting. And I think this is the money shot, really. Got his eyes rolled up. Would have been great to have Choy on the show, actually. Because he tells the story a lot better than I can. But yeah, shark eating. He's got the footage ready to mask and snorkel up in case he was to roll in. So he stayed ready. stinky, smelly whale carcass.
Bet he had to wash that wetsuit more than once.
He probably threw it away.
It's like a
I
single use item after
I
that.
don't know.
I don't
But
know if you'd ever get that out.
I don't know. He did take some blubber samples.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, everyone, no one else is in the water. We're just keeping close, in case Choy did fall in. But he didn't. Um, so yeah, really, really cool. Beautiful sharks. The blue shark definitely became my favorite shark. And I actually have that's the name of my holding company. So which I think I named the holding company Blue Shark before I saw the blue shark for real. So that's pretty
Hey man, that's manifesting right
ironic.
there.
Yeah, that's what it is. So yeah, these are just stills of Troy kind of kicking around on this whale.
It's rolling around
Um,
with the wheel.
yeah, and the tigers, and zooming in with my little amateur camera. Okay, these are okay. I see why the quality degraded a little bit. This is video, like they do the first frame. Okay, okay, and yeah, this is video as well. We tethered the boat, moored the boat basically to the whale, with that rope, and getting like Chris put his DSLR on a stick and had it tethered, so we got like super up close and personal footage of this feed. So I don't know what happened to everybody's footage, honestly. Um, hey Howard, thank you so much for joining the live. Good to see you. Um, I think we're all just sitting on a bunch of footage, man. Yeah, this is a 5 minute and 30 second clip, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I'll produce something, I think, because there's a lot of stuff. I'm just sitting on it.
It's
So
easy to do. It's easy to have lots of good video and pictures and footage locked away,
I
gathered.
know, but I mean, we're trying to
Got
share
to
what
get
we
it out
know.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just got to get out there.
Oh,
I
for
know
sure.
there's a service online. I see them pop up occasionally, and they had a stat. They're like 80% of GoPro footage never sees a light of day, and send you the footage, and they'll do a quick edit. I'm not gonna do that, but it just goes to say, like, I've been collecting. I don't delete anything. So I've got footage going back 11 years now, so it's pretty crazy. Um, Everyone on the live, happy to answer any questions you have. Jess, if you've got any stories, I mean, I've never swam with a whale shark before.
Yeah,
You
I've
showed
got
the
some whale
picture of
shark
you.
footage.
Let's
It's yeah, let me get that queued up.
cue it
And
up.
yeah, while we're doing that though, it's just one of those, this situation, you guys were very smart about it. You had divers who were basically acting as safety divers to make sure that the situation didn't get out of hand. And it's definitely something that if you are not an experienced diver, this would not have been a great thing for you to be participating in. So make sure that you're always diving, snorkeling, swimming within your training, within your experience, because you want to make sure that you understand how to be around these apex predators. You need to make sure you know how to be safe and keep the people around you safe. And so this was a very positive, cool experience that Weldon got to have, which is fantastic. But you have to remember, Weldon is very experienced.
No. Hey, Jess is giving me a little bit too much credit. So shut up.
I'm just
What I
just
want to
reminding people, you
what I
can't
want to
just.
say for the record is, if it wasn't for Chris and Choi, even if I would have come across like that, I would have never jumped in. It was totally like,
Yeah,
Jessica said, like
make sure you have people who know
I
what they're
was
doing.
with rock stars in the space that do this. So yeah, that was it. Troy giving me the green light was all I needed. But even still, with Dylan, who's a rock star as well, it was a bunch of us. And Chris, this is why tech is so dope. Chris just sent me a photo over Facebook of it's a still shot, and while Jess is doing that, I'm gonna do this. We're building this while we fly. I'm gonna try my best to get this photo up so you guys can see it. It is gnarly. Wow, man. Let me try to get this here.
Got to change our rating.
I know. It's like, Chris, I'm pulling it up now. Little one. Chris sent a photo. Here it is. This is it. Yeah. Wow. Need some background music for moments like this. These are rare though.
Right.
Quite rare. Normally we're just talking the whole time. Um Great. Let me bring this up. Where I save it to. All right. Chris, this is a powerful wow. It looks kind of like it's just cuddling up, but you know what's happening. It's not doing that at all. Uh yeah. Here is a photo that Chris just shared. There it is.
Oh, wow.
Up close and personal. Those are the teeth. Wow, look at the teeth. Those are the teeth we were trying to get. Heck, thank you so much, Chris. Exclusive indeed. Oh, wow. And he's in the back, just kind of like get your fill and then move on. And I got my fill. But yeah, the jaw, and then that is so gnarly. Wow. Look at that. Beautiful shot. Thank you so much, because you made this so great. It's great. Wow. Well, just reliving the days. Sheesh. And it was Mother's Day. We were late for everyone was late for Mother's Day dinner, I think. But I think, we all knew that Neil had just recently passed, and we were kind of just very grateful and thankful, kind of felt his energy while we were having this encounter. So it was really special, and then we knew it was something that will probably never happen again. Moving on. I don't even want to be on camera. No, I just want to soak up this. Oh my god.
So this is a very different shark experience. This is a toothless shark. So this is a whale shark. They are pretty spectacular creatures. They're filter feeders, and I got to swim with this guy in the Philippines. And this was fantastic. This was like a little like gift at the very end. So we had been in the water. We were just snorkeling with them, and this was at the very end. We were heading back to the boat, and I thought as I was swimming away, and I was like, oh man, like that's it. Like I've got to see whale sharks. That's I'm heading back to the boat. It's over. And this guy comes down and he like dove under and just swam right underneath. It was absolutely stunning. It was my favorite shot of the whole all of my. I have some still footage, but this was my favorite video. I'll play it one more time for you guys because it's pretty short. It's just like a little clip, but you can see the way the light comes off of their skin. They have this amazing polka dot skin, and it was a very, very cool experience.
Oh man, just to see a whale shark with my own eyes would be like such an incredible experience. And to my Bermudians in the room, who may think that like Bermuda doesn't have whale sharks, thanks to everyone having a camera in their pockets, you'll be surprised. And I said this already earlier in the live, but you'll be surprised what fishermen see when they're out in the deep blue. And I know a fisherman did within the last couple of years post up like a whale shark coming right to the back of the boat, and they pulled their lines in because they didn't want it to get entangled. But some of those salty dogs, those old fishermen, and my dad is a commercial fisherman, so just make that known. See some really, really cool stuff. And right now, everyone's keeping their eyes on South Shore with the humpback whale migration. And with whales comes dolphins and perhaps even sharks. But certainly, the most phenomenal memories I've ever had have been on South Shore, usually with Chris Burville on his boat with a hydrophone, with our free diving gear, ready to jump in and have these in-water experiences. Just want to dive into the comments, Jess. Did you want to
Yeah,
cue that up? We got a couple.
Oh, thanks, Magic. So Magic says that's amazing. Diving with whale sharks has been my ultimate goal since before I became certified. Yeah, it's really fun, and it's actually there's very few places where you can go scuba diving. A lot of the places where They're known to gather. They're snorkel only. But if you are a lucky diver and you encounter one, not at one of these places that like they have like tour boats go to, but like if you just happen to be diving in the right place at the right time, you will get to see one diving. That is also on my bucket list too. So here I didn't have my I didn't have tanks on or anything like that. It was just snorkeling, but it was fantastic. I actually have this. I'll pull it up. I have a shot that I don't know if I'll ever be able to quite
Oh
beat this
dear.
one. I don't know.
It's so much. Yeah.
It's tough. This is from the same time, and this was a very fun experience. But I do want to say that there are some things to think about. Oh, sorry guys, let me make this bigger. This is not super pretty, is it?
We're building it while we fly, Jess. It's
We
all
sure
right.
are. Oh my goodness. Some more than others. All right. Let
Okay.
me
Dope.
let's actually look at this. So
Yeah.
a friend of mine actually got this picture. And so I'm in my whale shark dive skin
This
with
is
the
so
whale
cool.
shark. It was very exciting. It was a super fun experience, and I was so happy just to get to be in the water with them. But you can kind of see right here, so they're filter feeders, right? Which is it's super cool. So a lot of times when people think sharks, they're like, oh, they eat fish, they eat marine mammals, they eat whales. But these guys are filter feeders. But you can see right here, I've got stuff wadded up in my hand. That is plastic trash that was floating in the water. So obviously that could be really bad for filter feeders, because if there's plastic trash and they're like putting, filtering through a whole bunch of water through their mouth to get all the food that they eat, and there's plastic in there, if that gets caught versus getting filtered out, that's going to go into their stomachs. It's going to get digested, which is going to be really not good for them. So being cognizant, season 1, we had some really cool episodes about conservation and making eco-friendly switches, and trying to reduce our plastic, and like what plastic waste looks like after it leaves our homes. And that's just a quick little reminder that this was a very beautiful, wonderful experience, but it was also, there was quite a bit of pollution, specifically plastic pollution in the water. So there was, it's the good and the bad. I don't want to just pretend like everything's like sugar coated. So
No, it's just tough, towing that line. It's a lot to consider, but there is that. It's those sides of it to be aware of for sure. Whale sharks.
it was beautiful. It was
That's so
absolutely
cool. Very cool.
they're gentle giants.
We got we got a question from Howard. Now I know quite a few of these guys from the Latin dancing world, and I haven't danced in a while, but I know Howard and his beautiful wife from the salsa community. So Howard asks us, how long have you guys been diving? I was certified in 08, I think, or I did my open water in 07. I mean, Andrew can look up my PADI record. Well, actually, Jess, you can too.
Yeah.
Can't hide,
Sweet.
right? You do a course, you get into the system. It's history. It's your transcript, just like any other educational type of institution. So it's easy to figure out when I was first certified. But I don't think my DSD was logged. I don't think you guys log DSDs. So
Yeah, it's a little bit different system for DSDs.
Right. So I did my DSD, and then I was like, I love this. Why didn't I do this before? And then I did the PADI open water with my instructor, at Blue Water Divers at the time, which was pretty great too. So yeah, I think 2008, and then it's become my lifestyle. I kind of put my dancing shoes on and picked up a couple sets of regulators and some fians. So, Jess, you said you've been diving
Yeah.
for a little while.
Yeah,
Couple
just a
years.
tiny bit, just like a few years. I actually got certified in 2003. So it's been 18 years.
It's nice.
So I've been diving for over half of my life.
Ugh.
To put that into, I've been diving longer than I've not been diving. And
That's so
so
cool.
yeah, it's been a real privilege to get to be in the water and get to see beautiful places and beautiful things, and also to use it as a working tool. So in 2010 is whenever I got my scientific diving certification. That's when I got to start doing a little bit different type of diving. And then later on, I became a dive master and then an instructor. So yeah, the scientific diving takes you to places that you wouldn't necessarily go as a recreational diver. And it lets you do things that you wouldn't necessarily do as a recreational diver. So it really broadens your horizons and your toolkit, which I love bringing that into whenever I am an instructor and whenever I'm teaching people, because then I can give them a little bit of perspective from both sides.
Indeed. And I'm encouraging anyone that's tuned into the live, please, like, we have this platform in this way to help benefit our viewership. So if you have any questions, any queries, any comments or suggestions, please, on whichever platform you're in, because this ties into both my Facebook page, Jessica's Facebook page, and YouTube. We have yet to kind of stand the show up on its own legs, if you will. What I want to do is encourage you guys as well. Just I'm going to try to find the button. If you don't already, please follow at Diving with Jess on social. So if you've got an Instagram account, it's Facebook and Instagram or Meta. So you're gonna have both. I think they force you to have both these days. But yeah, follow Jess on Instagram and Facebook. And if you don't follow me, please drop me a follow and drop some likes and click the bell and whatever they say when you're doing this kind of stuff. Click like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you're on the YouTube side. And yeah, we'll just see how the show evolves over time. But I certainly look forward to these Wednesday nights and bringing you guys some cool things to learn and to see, and hopefully there's some wonderful takeaways and whatnot. But yeah, Jess and I love swimming with sharks. I think we kind of hit the topic. It's already been over an hour on the stream, which is, I don't know where the time goes.
It flies.
Yeah, 1 hour and 17 minutes already with you guys, all 58 of you on the stream. A lot of you guys just sitting off listening to us talk and not engaging with us too much, but that's fine.
He's only a little passive aggressive, guys. It's okay. It's all right.
I know who some of you are, and I'm like, type something.
It is true. We love to interact with you guys, and we like to know where you are. I wanted to, if we have a quick second before we go, Weldon, I wanted to give a shout out. It's a birthday this week. It's the 30th birthday, the Dirty 30 of the Flower Gardens National Marine Sanctuary. So Flower Garden Banks has now been a sanctuary for 30 years. Their 30th birthday was on the 17th, so on Monday. So huge shout out to the sanctuary.
That is so cool. And while we're on that, I did take some notes while I was just, as I tend to think like we don't really do much pre-production, but of course it's like, what's the theme of next week's show going to be? What are we going to call the title? And then we get all the assets ready to put out into the public. So as soon as we think of a topic, I kind of take notes in Google Keep just to kind of make sure I don't miss anything. So I think I certainly wanted to recognize Neil and the Shark Project and Choy, and then show the footage I showed. Certainly I got much more footage from Grand Cayman and from the Bahamas, more footage from the Bahamas, the bull sharks and other species. But we only give ourselves about an hour or so for this show. So either we have to add a show or, make this particular show longer. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm just excited, I get this little anxious, excited nervousness just before going live. And then as soon as the theme music starts to play, it's like, yeah, let's get it done and have fun with you guys. So y'all could have been anywhere tonight, but you chose to hang out with us. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys. Oh, we got a question real quick. We've got, how is Jess's event in Surfside? So the Brazoria County Parks hosts Dunes Day, and I was telling you guys about it last week.
Tell us some more about that, Jess.
It went really good. So we had 80 volunteers, and I say we because I was one of the volunteers. I was not one of the people putting the event on. But there was 80 volunteers. There was over 1,000 trees, or 1,000, 10,000? I don't want to lie to you guys. I have the stats. And it was so windy. I'm not gonna like downplay how windy it was. If you guys saw any of my stories, I think I called it breezy a little bit sarcastically. There was a lot of sand in our faces. There's a lot of sand in our eyes. I had to get like a little for my little emergency kit. I had like a little like eye flush to get all the sand out because it was like encrusted in my eyes. But it was fantastic. There was a lot of volunteers, a lot of high schoolers came out from different school districts. There was a lot of families there. I got to meet some really cool people while I was at the event, and we got the tree stake down, even though it was super windy. And the whole point of that was to try to help protect our dunes and try to help build back up. Because during storms, like we had Hurricane Nicholas this year, whenever these big storms come through, that storm surge will push back the dunes, and it'll flatten out our dunes. And the dunes are natural protection for everything that's behind them, so they help block a lot of the storm surge and high tides, that type of thing. And so that is what we did for Dunes Day. We staked down the trees with natural twine and wood, so it'll all biodegrade over time, and to try to help catch that sand, build it back up so that the natural sand dune plants can grow on top, which really helps. Hey, Steve. Steve's on the live. Thanks for joining us, Steve. It's so good to see you. Steve is a very cool, very experienced instructor. We got Kayla here too. It's fantastic.
That's nice. That's so cool. Just on my phone, a little bit distracted. Getting some DMs on WhatsApp asking me different questions about different things, and some of it isn't even like show related. I'm like, I shouldn't really be dabbling in that. I should.
Oh.
No, something about Google Business Suite no longer being free. So it's a big deal, but it's not related to swimming with sharks, that's for sure. That's not good. It is what it is. Family, appreciate you. I think what is this? Is this we wrap it up, Jess? We wrap it up.
Yeah, we're good.
So shout out to Bermuda International and Blue Wave, who provided me with this flawless bandwidth. I think it's been. Has it been okay tonight, Jess?
Yeah, it's been good for on my end.
Good. And shout out to our supporters, certainly Atlantic Mooring Maintenance Limited and Uber Vita and Current Vehicles. You're going to see me zipping around in an EV, one of the new Amy's, once in a while. I like it. Side-by-side seating and super quiet. She only does 45K though. So I might have to ask the guys, like, can we just tweak it a little bit? That extra 5K matters, but we'll see. Jess, any closing remarks for the week? I mean, how do you feel? Season 2, episode 2. You know, we changed our cadence a little bit, kind of loosened things up. I'm not dressing up in my fancy tabs collared shirts anymore.
We got more cash today.
A little more cash.
Sorry, we're divers here. We're pretty cash.
I was gonna have my wetsuit on at one point. I was like, do I go on camera in my wetsuit? And I was like, no, because it's gonna get hot. It's silly. But yeah, like we do this for you guys, and if you have any suggestions, if you'd like us to make any changes, like we're open. We already moved the show earlier, which I think is great. The viewership, the numbers look fantastic. And yeah, I think it's better. I remember like having a 10 o'clock start was a bit rough for my local guys. Certainly for the kids that were keen to tune in, it was like, like 10 o'clock is quite late. So Jess, thank you so much for being able to jump on a little earlier. It's been wonderful having you as co-host and co-producer, which is so nice.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, we need to get together one way or the other in 2022. I come there or you come here, and we'll figure that out. But certainly on behalf of everybody that's making this show possible, making season 2 possible.
Oh, thank you, Jessica.
Thank you, Jessica.
Season 2, guys.
Thank you. And thank you guys, because without you guys, we'd probably be like, yeah, let's do something else. So we appreciate your viewership, and it's just onward and upward from here. And yeah, we're building it while we fly, I say. So
well, we'll see you guys next week, same time, same place.
Same time, same place.
Wednesdays, 6:30 Central, 8:30 Atlantic. I remember to call it Atlantic instead of Bermuda this time.
ASTADT. I don't even know what it is, but yeah. And Jess, when you're ready, you can cue the 30-second bit
Uh-oh.
that Mark edited for us, which is great. And yeah, we'll close out with our fancy new bit. And see you guys next week.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Oh, appreciate you, Egypt. I'm still alive.